Thank you. Let's get started. Okay. Welcome, everybody. This is the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission. It is October 2nd, 2024 at 6:30 p.m., a few minutes after 6:30 p.m. To all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable's Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission ordinance under Chapter 112, Article 3 of the Code of the Town of Barnstable, you are hereby notified that a hearing is being held at Town Hall, 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass. Selectmen's Conference Room, 2nd floor, 6:30 p.m., Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. This meeting of October 2nd, 2024 is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, Section 20, the Chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. No takers on that. Could I please ask people to silence their cell phones? And make sure your mics are where you can get to them. So, calling the meeting to order. I will go Commissioner Perry Wentworth. Here. Commissioner Conrad Watson. Here. Commissioner Kevin Matthews. Here. Commissioner Cornelius Cowley. Here. Commissioner Jennifer Hinckley Needham. Here. Commissioner Matthew Clark. Here. Commissioner Laura Cronin. Here. Commissioner Jack Kay. Here. Commissioner Tom Doherty. Here. And I, Commissioner Cheryl Powell, am also here. We have a full house tonight. Well done, everybody, for making it. So, there is that. I also want to acknowledge our Town Council Liaison, Charles Bloom. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Could I please ask staff to introduce themselves?
Karen Pina, Admin Assistant, Planning and Development.
Corey Pacheco, Senior Planner.
And Jim Kupfer, Director of Planning.
Is there anyone I missed? Welcome, of course, to our guests and our applicants. So we don't, again, just a reminder to please check your conflict of interest training. That's very important. And check it when you last did it. I did mine last weekend because I thought it was due, and I found and it came up with the old certificate. It's due every 2 years, so I did it annually this time. So save yourself if you've already done it. Correspondence we do have, but we have the correspondence with regard to our application. So if nobody has any objections to that, I'm not going to have it read out now. I'll read it with regard to, at the same timing as the applications are heard. Is that okay? Okay. So one of the things I do want to do, and I saw it here, I want to remind the commissioners of our purpose. And it's nice to revisit it every once in a while. Can I get you a chair?
I'm good. She prefers. He's getting her.
Are you sure? Okay.
He's getting you one. There you go.
Sorry, I didn't see you over there. Okay, so I want to remind you of the purpose. This is on our ordinance chapter 112-24, the purpose of the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission. The purpose of this article is to promote the educational, cultural, economic, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the town of Barnstable and the town's unique character, community character, through the preservation and protection of the distinctive characteristics of the buildings, structures, and places significant in the history and architecture of Barnstable, and through the preservation, maintenance, and improvement of appropriate settings for such buildings, structures, and places, and the encouragement of new design which is compatible with the existing historical and community character, and through the benefits resulting to the economy of said town by preserving and enhancing the amenities of historical aspects of the various villages and areas which make Barnstable a desirable place to live and for tourists to visit. That is our purpose. That is what we are supposed to be promoting. Every once in a while, it's nice to just revisit that and remind ourselves. So with that, we have a number tonight. I'm going to move on because we have the continued business is likely to take quite some time. We have two that would promise to be quite simple and straightforward. So I'm going to move it around and ask Mr. Aubrey Foster, DBA Blue Moon, 357, that's a correction on the agenda, 357 Main Street, Hyannis, map 309, parcel 219, with regard to a sign, to please come forward and sign in.
He's 430 Main Street, right? You're
Yes.
430 Main Street.
That's what I was mentioning.
Yes.
The other one, Emily Swartz? Yeah. That's 357 Main Street.
That's the one. 357. So that one was correct. Okay. So that one is correct, 430 Main Street.
Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Brennan from Simple Signs.
Hi.
And I'm representing Aubrey Foster tonight of Blue Moon Restaurant. He wants to put a new sign up. There was an existing sign there, similar, well, exact same size, similar design, and it blew down a couple years ago on him. The landlord just put up had a contractor come and shore up the ceiling there to hold the new sign, which only weighs roughly about 30 pounds. And he'd like to put a new sign up again.
About it. Am I giving you,
Yes.
I'm
No, you're
crowding
okay,
you, aren't I?
you're okay.
Sure.
It's 6 foot wide, 2 foot tall. It's going to be hanging above the sidewalk. It's 3/4 inch white PVC, and it's going to be put in with stainless steel eye hooks and hardware so that it doesn't rust and you don't have streaks coming down it. It's full color printed. It's flat. There's no raised accents to it or anything. There is an existing sign on the awning that we're going to take down, and we're going to take down, if he hasn't already, all of his pennants that he has. That's one stipulation from the building department before the sign goes up. That's it.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
The pennants, building commissioner wanted them to come down. Was that just a temporary thing, or were they intended to be permanent? I mean, because sometimes you do a festival or
We
something
didn't
like
put
that.
them up. I don't know why he put them up. He put them up
okay.
over the summertime, and
Okay,
yeah, just to draw some attention for himself, I'm sure.
okay. So, commissioners, do you have any questions with regard, or for clarification with regard to the presentation, please?
Yep.
Yeah.
For Jim, our signs in the current bylaws, where we call them 3x5.
3x5, no, that's for trade flags, is 3x5. Signs just adhere to zoning, which this one
Those,
does.
okay.
You say it had eye bolts and hooks?
It'll have eye bolts and hooks, yes.
So it swings?
Yes.
Okay.
It will swing. And with the wind, so the window, it's not going to swing on a daily,
Yeah.
but just with the wind, it will move out of its way.
Any opportunity for it to hop off the hook?
Oh, no, they're going to be add-links,
Oh,
and we
okay.
put Loctite on them when we close them down.
All right. Got it.
Commissioner Kernan?
Yeah, you mentioned that there will be hardware with that, but there's no mention of what type of hardware it is.
Eye bolts and add-links is what the hardware is. They're on the top of the sign right here, the 2 eye bolts in the picture.
And I think you said they were metal.
And there will be stainless steel, so that there won't be rust streaks coming down the sign.
They're on which picture? I'm sorry.
Horizontal.
They're not on yours, I do apologize.
Yeah, I don't see it.
There's 2 eye bolts on the very top.
Stainless steel, you said?
Yes.
I just have one more question.
Sure.
It said that this would not be illuminated,
No, it won't be.
but right now there isn't isn't that part of the sign was illuminated, or is that a back?
That's the backer on the awning. The awning is illuminated, and there is a panel on the awning that we didn't put on there.
Right.
But we are either going to cover that up or take it down, not the awning itself, but the sign there, because it won't fit code
Right.
as far as the building department.
I don't think that I don't think that was approved. I think that was put in there probably over time, but if you're taking that down, then that's not an issue.
Right.
I just wouldn't want to continue something that shouldn't be there.
Right, already spoke with Sally down at the building department, and they said we have to take those items down to be able to put this up.
All right, that's fine. Those are my questions. Thank you.
2 faces?
Yes, it's double-sided. You'll see it walking up and down the street.
Okay, any other questions?
You designed the sign there, Charlie?
Selena did.
It looks good. I like it better than the sign that's up there now.
Yeah, a lot better than what's there now. Thank you.
Any others before I open it up to public comment? Is there anyone here for public comment on this? Nope. Staff? Jim, do you, Conrad, or Connor?
No, nothing
Ready?
further.
Nope, okay. All right, so, as Jack said, it's pretty straightforward. I see people nodding heads. Are we ready to go to a motion?
I move that the commission find this application to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district at 430 Main Street, Hyannis.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Matthews. Okay, so Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee Needham.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark. Commissioner Cronin. And I also say, actually, because we have 7 here, Commissioner Crowley.
Aye.
Okay, so that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, we got a little bit more than that, but that's fine. So we're good. I was counting a little bit more. Okay, so is there a motion for the certificate of appropriateness, please?
I will. I move to issue the certificate of appropriateness to the application at 430 Main Street, Hyannis, as described in the submitted materials.
Okay. Commissioner Crowley. Commissioner Cronin. Aye. Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Hinckley Needham.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
I also say aye. So then congratulations.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank
guys.
you.
We appreciate it.
Is there anyone here for Emily Swartz, DBA Coastal Homes Realty Group? Do you have any information on?
The agenda.
Speak to that.
Well, in that case, we're going to go, we okay? In that case, we're going to go on to Mary George and Anasteci Pacella, DBA The Cordial, 430 to 436 Main Street, Hyannis map 309, parcel 219, with regard to a mural. This is a continuation from the August 21, 2024 hearing. I also want to clarify, Commissioner Crowley, you were not here. So Commissioner Matthews, can you please take his place in the vote, please?
Sure.
Okay.
You, Tom, Jack, Laura, and Kevin.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
And you left out Tom. Oh, no, Tom, we got Tom there. What about Jennifer?
Kevin was here, so Kevin has to be in. So you're gonna go you, Tom, Jack, Laura, Matt, Jen, and Kevin.
Okay,
You won't be another alternate.
okay, that's right.
1, 2, 3.
I just wanted to make sure. Matt, okay, Clark, okay. Yeah,
Question of procedure.
Sure.
And alternates comment?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it's a good question. Yes, you're part of the discussion, it's just not of the vote. So the people who will not be voting will be Commissioner Watson and Commissioner Wentworth. And Commissioner Crowley, yes.
So is Jennifer?
Was I not there also that day?
What?
Have 7?
7. Bear with us just a moment, we're just clarifying who.
Yeah, I have you here, Jen.
Oh, okay. I thought so.
Perry,
Cheryl, Tom, Jack, Laura, Matt, Jen, and Kevin.
and the 3 who cannot are Perry, Neal, and
Barry, Neal, and Conrad.
I have, again, I'm looking at the August 21st minutes.
Yep.
Jennifer was not here. It's Cheryl, Matt, Tom, Jack, Laura,
I thought
myself.
that's what it
Okay, so
So who
in
we're
that
taking out
case,
then, Jen?
Jen,
Okay.
sorry, Jen, but you can still comment. So in that case, I think Perry came in first, so Perry, I'll put you in, is that okay? Okay, so it's Perry. Housekeeping, to be clear.
Yep.
Okay, so it's going to be me, Tom, Jack, Laura, Matt, Kevin, and Perry.
Who's absent?
The 3 that will not, Jen, it is Neal, Perry, or not Perry, Neal, Conrad, and Jen will not.
Just a point of order here. It says here, the members absent, Perry is on that list.
Right.
Cornelius, Perry, Conrad, Jen were
Yes.
not here.
Yeah.
Those 4
Okay, so it's not Perry. Oh, Conrad wasn't either?
was not here.
So that
It's going to be 6.
you, Tom, Jack,
Laura, Matt,
Matt,
and Kevin. Yep. So it's only a 6.
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
We good?
Yep.
Okay,
So-
so,
Real quick, just to clarify for the applicant.
yes,
So the commission is down one member now in the review for a final vote. So it's 6 members voting instead of a typical 7-member board voting. Doesn't change the quantum of vote necessary for approval, though, so 4 is still required. So tonight, as the discussion moves forward, you may consider how to proceed. Someone here could mull it in for a subsequent meeting, meaning they could read the minutes, watch the video of the previous meeting, and then attend a next meeting. It would only be 1 member. That would get you to a full voting quantum. Totally up to you and the commission as you guys are discussing. I just want to make sure
yeah.
everyone is.
I was going to make that point after the presentation on the changes. Just to put it another way, in other words, it's not 4 of 7, you need to get it's 4 of 6 for a possibility. So if you wanted to continue, I'm sure we would respect that. It's certainly up to you on that. So I was going to wait until after they had a chance to hear the responses. But you want to continue? Okay, I mean, continue, you want to continue tonight? It's totally, we respect whichever you want. And do we still have enough time? We could do an exemption anyway, so, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
Yeah, I think move forward with our presentation this evening.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. In that case, have you signed in?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about the changes? We know what was there for the last one. So can you tell us what the changes are?
Right. So last meeting, we heard some questions about, some desire to see a stronger connection to, you know what? I have my thoughts organized in this.
Take your time.
Can I go through the slideshow that I made?
Sure.
To help me keep on track and make sure I hit all the points that she brought up.
They have the hand, I printed out the handout. They're looking at what you said.
Okay. So this is what we originally came to you with, the little additional detail. And we heard your questions around how are these elements connected to, how is this mural connected to Cape Cod history? And so the symbolism that's present in this mural is that the feathers and quail shells are honoring the history of the Wampanoag people, the indigenous community. And then there's elements of quilting. So this is a sketch, right? Actually on the mural it would be more clear, more vibrant, but this oceanscape has these, it's more abstracted because it's intended to look the way quilts are with the fabric pieced together. Eugenia Swartz was well known for her quilting, and there's even a quilt of hers is held in the JFK collection. And then the butterfly and ladybug imagery is symbolizing the transformation and hope, which the artist is intending to reflect on the Cape's ability to evolve and shape lives. We know that you had wanted to be
Sorry,
able
Anna.
to, yes.
The microphone,
Yeah,
if you could.
thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, it's for the people that will listen at home. Thank you.
I got maybe
Standing right beside me. Thank you for spotting that.
It's a bad setup.
It's difficult for me to
Yeah.
speak into here and look over there, but I'll do my best. Okay, so one of the questions that Commissioner Kay had brought up was, are people going to be able to use this to find more? And we said we would host a page on our website. This is a sample page of what that might look like. So there will be a picture of the mural, whichever design ends up being finalized, and then the artist statement, and that can be accessed through a QR code that will go on the wall. The artist submitted to us her color list, which is predominantly coming from the town's historic colors. And as we discussed last time, there are certain colors that you just, need colors that aren't on the historic palette to be able to accurately paint something like a hydrangea or a butterfly. And then for the material concerns of the application, this mural will be painted on polytab, which is a fabric, and then that will be adhered to the brick. This is a best practice in mural making. It's safer for the bricks than painting directly on the brick, and it will prevent that peeling that you sometimes see as murals have been out and exposed to the elements. The brick wall is currently painted over red from when the bid was cleaning up some graffiti work. And so if, ownership changed hands or for some reason we decide as a community that this mural is no longer right for us, it can be returned to the state that it's currently in by painting over. And this building was built in 1950. It's not considered historically significant, and the wall does not have any special architectural features that would need to be preserved. And we confirmed with the permitting department. Robin emailed me back that it's not considered a sign because it doesn't have any product name, any service logo, or representation of a commercial enterprise. And so getting to some of the concerns that were brought up last time about how connected is this visually to Eugenia Swartz and our history. Commissioner Matthews wanted to see a quote directly from Eugenia Swartz. So we were able to find 2 quotes. This is one of them. We're not going anywhere, which is referring to, her iconic moment of desegregating Cape Cod's beaches. And then we've also included a portrait of Eugenia Swartz as well to strengthen that connection. And then we wanted to show you some of Desiree's work because we think you'd really appreciate, when at our last art wall meeting, you wanted more traditional painting, more oil painting style. So Desiree is a very accomplished painter in more traditional Cape Cod painting styles.
What are those works?
What?
These are whose works?
The artist who will be conducting the mural.
She created a replica of the original work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not claiming she painted that. Very famous Vermeer.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is a Vermeer.
Yeah. So.
She didn't look that old when she came before the board.
Thank you for that clarification. That was a great question. So you can see the amount of the skill that she has in painting in these traditional styles. Mary, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I think just only that, we tried to create a couple of alternative design schemas that we think are still in line with the original intent of this artwork, but also, provided some area for conversation and compromise around what some of you folks expressed last time in terms of wanting to see on this mural. And so kind of any of the above images / potentially some mixing and matching of those elements would all be amenable to us in regard to moving the design forward, but are interested in any questions.
So what are we supposed to pick a design that we like? I don't understand where we're going. It used to.
I think what they're saying is what they want to do is what they had up there, and these are just examples of some of their other work.
Oh, yeah, that's just her portfolio, so you could get a sense of the skill that she has.
So
Then I have a question. In your write-up, this is a little different, but I just don't quite understand it. You were awarded a grant from the New England Foundation of Arts to create a series of public artwork and honor our past and make space for our present and future. Mm-hmm. It's great. Does that mean you're going to do more art walls, or is this the only one?
This is the final piece in that series. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, that's great.
One part of that statement, I just need clarification because I just don't understand it, is you got it for a series of artwork that honor the past and make space for our present and future. What? I don't understand that.
I think it's kind of exactly what it says, that, sometimes our appreciation of historical elements can, often very inadvertently serve in a way that excludes contemporary expression or visions of what our future could look like together. And so when we applied for this particular source of funding, a lot of the guidelines for this particular program were around assessing the location in which the granted entity lives and like what are issues relevant to that community that we want to see expressed in public art. And a tension that we see often coming up in our community is balancing respect for our past and space for our present and future. And so that's, yeah, I think it's exactly what it says, you know, wanting to make space for all of those community values in this project.
Okay. And, you know, one of the things we don't want anything controversial, naturally. You know, it's a public building. And when I looked up that statement, they didn't know we were seeds. And I just Googled it, okay? And then originally what comes up is they tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds. And this is a phrase that over the years has been connected to the immigration rights movement protesting, you know, government actions against immigration. So I think that would be controversial.
I mean, I think controversy is in the eye of the beholder, but there are lots of things about our history that, you know, could be considered moments for, I mean, rather than controversy, I like to think of these as opportunities for deeper discussion and communication and unpacking how elements of our history have gotten us to where we are today and how we'll inform our future forward. And I think, you know, to be candid, the struggle for equity and civil rights is part of our history in this community. And I think that it is important to make sure, as we're honoring the history of our community, that we're not eliminating really important elements of that history because it might cause discomfort.
No, I understand that. You know, but I think conversation's terrific, and we all need more of it in this country. But today, you know, immigration, you know, 50% of Americans today, and these are out of the Gallup polls, I'm not making these things up, you know, are in favor of mass deportation, which is horrible. And 55% of the Americans polled on the Gallup poll, this was last week, want less immigration. So here on the wall of Hyannis, do we want to address that? Okay. That's my feeling, okay? And as far as honoring somebody on a wall in Hyannis, you know, who have done a lot of good for the county and the Cape, you know, I can think of two very famous people that I'd love to see up on that wall, is JFK and RFK, all right? And they have strengthened voting rights for in the South during the 60s. They gave assistance to schools that voluntarily desegregated. He protected, you know, gave U.S. Marshals to the Freedom Riders in 1961. You know, that would be a great person to honor. I think if we're going to put somebody up on a wall, I think we need more discussion on who we're going to put up on that wall, okay? We could put up, you know, something with the Kennedys. We got the Kennedy Library. We got the Armory. We got the Memorial, you know. We could write, ask not what you do for your country, you know.
And I think our response to that would be, we have a museum, we have a memorial, we have many public recognitions of these important historical figures in this community, and we need to make room for more. And I guess a question that I also is not clear to me around this process of bringing this proposal before Historic is the job of this commission to curate, you know, what an artistic expression in the community is, or is it to evaluate whether or not it's violating any guidelines? And I think that's where some of the tension in this conversation is coming from, that, you know, it's part of our right to free speech to be able to have different forms of expression in our community. And I'm just not sure that this is the appropriate venue to discuss the content of the mural itself, which was developed through a community listening process. So we've already done the work of listening to community members and their expertise and their interests. The artist has generated the work, and kind of I feel like our job here is to assess whether or not it's in violation, or is it in accordance with the guidelines that are in place. And I feel like this like you can make a mural about any number of people or things or elements or historical occurrences in this community, and I'm sure they would all be lovely, but this is the one that our community has voiced wanting to make space for, and I think that's the question at hand.
When you say your community, but what community?
Our community of Hyannis.
Voted on this particular mural? Or?
We held a community listening session that was publicly advertised and included attendance by Melissa Chartrand, the Arts and Culture Chairperson of the town of Barnstable, along with many other community members, in which we had a facilitated listening process where we asked community members what element of our local history would they like to see depicted in a public art mural, and this was the outcome of that listening process.
Can I just, is that working? So what I would say is we're getting into the deliberation. I'd like to open it up. If we don't have any more questions.
I just have a few. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Is it on the presentation?
Yeah, just a couple of things.
Okay.
I'm presuming all of the issues with regard to the owner of the building have been worked out. Everything's cool with that. If you were to describe Eugenia Fortes, would you describe her in terms of the desegregation efforts that you spoke about beforehand? And to ignore that and that controversy and that conflict, would that be, in your opinion, to whitewash her memory?
Yeah, and I think that the work of justice and the work of, even the founding of our nation, it's required people to get uncomfortable and do uncomfortable things. And, I think that we and our artists are trying to tell this story in a way that is joyful and is something that will spark interest from community members who don't know a lot about this story and pride in our community. But yes, inherently as part of her story is the struggle for desegregation in this community.
Can I just say, I think we're still getting into the content rather than the process by which they're trying to come before us, which is to put public art in an area in the town where they have a grant, where they have certain time frame, I'm sure, to have the grant spent. And so the town of Barnstable is a large town. It has many, many facets and many, many different locations of where something that they could use their grant money to do. They've already said this is like the third phase or the final phase of it. So from this historic committee, I think we do have an obligation to make sure that what we are allowing or putting into the public spaces, just like we would anything else that is in our guidelines and in our purview, to make sure that it does meet the historic character. We just read our purview ahead of time. So I don't think if we get too far into whether or not we agree or disagree with the content, I think that could be done anywhere. There are other locations that this could be placed that would have a wonderful effect on the youth community center, for example, where it's outside the historic. This doesn't have to be in the historic Main Street district, and I think that would be, if you got a little bit more community involvement, maybe you would find an alternative where you could still use your grant and be able to get it to a location where it would be a little bit more, I think more people would be able to see it and be able to have input on it. But I'm just thinking that from the historic standpoint, yes, we do. I think we do have an obligation to be able to do it. We've done it before with the shanties down on Bismarck Park. We've done it on the wall of Bradford's, where we had an artist come in, and she did that, but she came before us. On any of the art that you see in town, we've come before us, and we've had input on that because it is part of our community, and it is part of what we want to make sure the community has involvement. You have your murals outside the public library, which is not in dispute here. But there are other items where they have come before us long ago, and they were rejected because they said, you know what, it doesn't belong in historic, and they wound up putting it just outside the historic district, which is kind of unique, but it's something that you have the opportunity to do. You can use your grant, and you can provide that outside of Main Street in Hyannis and historic district.
Thank
could
you.
respond to that by saying, though, like, we could, but, like, we shouldn't have to if this is an appropriate addition to the infrastructure in this community. And the HYCC is a great location. We'd love to put a piece of art there. In order to do that, it's a piece of municipal property. We have to do a public call for art. It's this entire huge process.
That's right.
You know, this is a building.
That's right.
Is there a particular reason why you do feel it significant that this be in the historic?
Because, well, number one, this is where we're located. This is where our organization is at 255 Main Street. We have an artist studio program that is in the building in question. It's part of the High Arts District, or the Cultural District, excuse me, in this community. So the location of it is relevant. This particular alleyway was also brought up in, forgetting the name of I was calling it the Community Needs Assessment, and that's not the name of it. That's Cape Cod Healthcare. But it was brought up as an alleyway that community members felt was like not well lit, made them feel unsafe. They want, you know, greater activity going on in that connection between the North Street parking lot and Main Street. So
that's also referenced even in the historic guidelines themselves as improving the setting, that walkway between North Street and Main Street.
Right.
So I'm like page 52-ish.
And I think there is certainly a desire from the community members that participated in the development of this mural, and those who haven't, that, you know, we also interact with in our life or in this community, that the history of this historic district reflect a more diverse story. So I personally find it very important to be in this district, and I think that's part of the potency of the work. If there's any other number of places, that I'm sure it could be in the world, but, you know, this is where we would like it to be. We would like to figure out how we can make that work.
Thank you very much. So before we go further into deliberation, I really need to open up the public comment. Come back.
Can I ask a question?
If it's on clarification of the presentation.
Yeah, it's about the presentation. So I just want to make sure I'm getting this correct. And let me tell you that when I saw this new slide, I looked at it and like, you guys are playing with me, right? Because if you remember at the last meeting, I brought up Eugenia Swartz a lot because I think, as opposed to my fellow commissioners, I think she's very historical and I think she's very important to our history and the civil rights history. So what you're saying is, you're willing to you're open to doing one of these newer designs with Eugenia Swartz on it, which I think is really important because at least you're seeing who this whole thing is supposed to be for. Because that's where I was confused about before, because I agree with Tom. I didn't like that previous saying because it was a saying that was from a Greek poet, then used in Mexican poetry, and again about immigration and all that. And I didn't like the feel of that. And I had said, can we find a quote from Eugenia Swartz? Because that would kind of wrap it all up.
Right.
So. And I don't, honestly, I've got 3 other quotes from her I like better than "We aren't going anywhere," because to me that sounds aggressive. And if you're just a tourist and you're looking at "We aren't going anywhere," it just feels aggressive. I like more like "Do what your heart tells you is right. Deeds, not words, are what counts." Something like that you look at and it's like, wow, that's poignant things to say. You know, you can really kind of hear that and think about it instead of "We're not going anywhere." And it's like, what does that mean? Anyway, but the fact that you have gone in this direction, I'm just making sure that you're willing to work in that kind of way to change it a little bit like that?
I think we're certainly open to changing elements of the design as we sort of demonstrated, as long as it's in accordance with the original spirit of this mural.
And one more thing, that building that it's next to, that bank, they're extending that wall.
Yes.
So that's really good. You're going to go through all of this beautiful painting, this beautiful mural and all that, and it's going to be blocked for people really being able to see it. I just want you to, have you thought about that you're going to go to, and again, this beautiful piece of artwork and spend all the time you're going to need to do, and then they're going to put a building in front of it, and you're not going to be able to see it unless you're actually walking down that walkway. No, I understand. I understand, but I'm asking a question.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, that's a consideration. I would again say that, it is important for us for this work to be in this historic district if we're able to facilitate that process. And I mean, to be honest, like, it's not that easy to come by a wall and somebody's just gonna let you put a mural on,
I understand.
And so, like, there is like a material reality to the fact that, like, we have access to this space. The owner of the building is in complete support of this project, and
Right.
Okay.
And we're trying to be conscious, too, that where we put this is not interfering with buildings that are of more historic significance or do have those special design details, and this building doesn't have any of those.
Okay, I got you. All right, thank you.
Is the
So-
abutting builder of people, did
may
you
I
show that
ask-
them too? I think it's Dunkin' Donuts that's going on.
Yeah, it's the kudos, and so they have been informed of the project. They're not easy folks to get on the phone. So I've been in touch with the administrator at their office several times, and they've been submitted the information on this project. And we've had no response to that.
Okay.
Although I will say, in a situation that I think is germane, when we originally were proposing the Hyannis Community Art Wall, it was intended to be on this wall in question originally, and we did verbally communicate with Sal Kudo in writing, who gave his thumbs up to whatever happening.
I
Okay.
think they should see whatever we decide here tonight, if we decide anything, they should be able to see it and approve it.
I mean,
That's a good point. So first of all, this young woman has been waiting there very patiently. Can we offer you a chair over here?
I'm totally fine.
Are you sure? Okay. So that's that. So what I would like to...
For a point of order, please. Are we going to have an opportunity to speak about this project?
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. If you'd heard me before, I tried to do this several times. So we are going to continue the deliberation, but I do want to open it up for public comment. Now, Matt, I wanted to offer you an opportunity to time it if you want to. If not, I will time it. I'm going to leave it at 3 minutes. Would you prefer to time it, or would you like me to?
Sure, I'll time.
Are you happy to? So we'll go for 3 minutes. I'm going to ask that the people who speak, that you please give them a 30 seconds head up when they're 2.5 minutes so they can wind it up. Would you mind doing that?
Got it.
Thank you. Couldn't think of anyone better for the task. You're good at, fantastic. Thank you. All right, so who would like to speak? When you come up, please sign in and then state your name. Are you coming? I didn't know if these, are you not coming up? Okay, I thought they were standing up to come up. So can't take everybody all at once. So. Say your name and speak into the microphone.
Hi, my name is Julia Montero Johnson. I am currently the president of Zion Union Heritage Museum. And I'm speaking for a couple of things. First of all, to say that we were the host site for the public gathering. It was well attended. I was very surprised, actually, to see that many people. And the conversation was really very good. And I have not seen this mural proposal until tonight. I grew up knowing Eugenia Swartz. She was always Miss Swartz to me. And I was overwhelmed by what I saw. I understand the comment about the seeds. However, I see the seeds totally differently. I see the seeds as growth. We started with seeds. We end up with wonderful, blooming communities and children who are well educated, and I see that very differently. I think we've gotten so involved in immigrants. My parents were an immigrant. Well, my grandparents were immigrants. Eugenia Swartz was an immigrant. So what? How many of you here have come from an immigrant family? This is who we are. She was involved with the Reverse Freedom Riders. I don't even know if anybody knows about them. There's a quilt that we have in the museum that she did by hand to raise funds for the JFK Memorial. The quilt was raffled off. She did it all. She made it, she raffled it. She turned the money over to the Memorial Fund, and the people who won the quilt returned it to us at the museum. She has such a powerful impact, particularly on those who knew her, and it's a shame that more people don't have the opportunity to know of her greatness. She was one of the founding members of one of the charter members of the local NAACP Cape Cod branch. I just, for a while there, I was hearing a slight tinge of some racism here. And that surprised me. And that surprised me. It really did, because I see this so very differently. But I see it differently because I am different. I knew her. I grew up knowing her. I've seen the wonderful works that she's done.
30 seconds, miss.
Okay, thank you. So I would ask you to support these young people who've come up with a fabulous idea, gotten the money to implement it, and have done tremendous work to bring this to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We didn't hand out numbers. Who would like to speak next? Thank you, but if you could also state your name and speak into the microphone. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Beverly Roberts, and I'm here as an artist with the Tongue of Barnstable and also Amplified POC board member. Okay, I'm listening, and I'm hearing two issues. One is, I almost felt like it was okay, but the person on it was not okay. So if it was JFK or somebody that, the honorable gentleman liked, we would have a different problem. And then, of course, the issue is the actual mural, which is beautiful, which speaks to me as not only an immigrant, but as a black person, and having someone like Eugenia Fort. When I came here, I didn't even know anything. I remember going to that beach, and then I found out the whole story of it. I'm like, wait a minute, why is this hidden? It is hidden. And we have young people, young artists. Thank you so much, Mary Anasteci, wonderful job. And we want people to advocate, because if you know when you look like me, what you go through living here, and being told, I actually do like the aggressive statement. We are not going anywhere. And we are not here to be aggressive or to fight with the status quo or the historic balance of things. We are here to work together. And we need to have some sort of opportunity and space in order to do that. And every time I hear about what is Cape Cod history, it seems white. It's changing. And why fight? Why not work together? This is a wonderful start. It's not aggressive. It's clean, it's beautiful, and it depicts someone who we, as black folks here on Cape Cod, could identify with. And I really don't see the objection. I was actually blown away, because I came here to support my two wonderful colleagues, and I was blown away. I don't see the objection, and I do agree. I've heard the undertone of objection to having anything black or non-white portrayed on Main Street, Hyannis. When you say put it in our little area, the rec center, we know what that is. We know who goes there. And why not have it on Main Street? It's time we break out of the norm. Something new is happening, and it's beautiful. Time to embrace a new culture, a new people, something that's happening. We don't want to fight. We are here, and we have to learn to work together. And this, you all have it in your hands. You have the power in your hands to make something beautiful. This young man and my son, very good friends. My son wanted to be here because he walked the street and he doesn't see himself.
Got 30
and
seconds,
this is what
miss.
they need to do. See themselves when you walk the street. And the mural is an excellent start.
Just for the record, when I see you as a valuable member of the community. That's how I see you.
Pardon?
I said, just for the record, when I see you as a valuable member of the community. That's my interpretation. Next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Xavier. I am an artist, and I just launched a business called Pop-Up Street Cape Cod. I'm from Jamaica originally, and my parents have been coming here for years. So as a child, I had Stop and Shop t-shirts. I had, all the Cape Cod merch and all that. And I fell in love with this place that I did not know as a child. I came here 6 years ago because I wanted a change, and because I knew that my family already know Cape Cod and already came here. I'm like, this is a perfect place. I came here and I started teaching because I've been a teacher in Jamaica. I teach, or I used to teach, lots of immigrant children as well as children who are not immigrant children. And I feel like the work that Mary and Anasteci are doing with this mural is very important for the kids. There are so many kids who do not know anything about the past, nothing at all. And I think this is a great way to start a conversation and to also to teach, Teaching is something that I think this mural is going to be a great way to let kids, or even people who don't know about this wonderful human being that they're trying to show us about, or to tell people about that, they don't know about them. It's a good thing to learn about it. It's our history, and I just feel like we need more of this, because there are so many other persons who look like Eugenia, who look like me, who don't see themselves, as Beverly said. And even some of the kids that I teach who are not immigrants, they want to learn too. They want to know about their friend. They want to know about their past. They want to know everything. And I feel like this mural is going to be a great step in that direction, to teach a very important lesson in history, and to also show us that we're much better together. Thank you.
By the way, we have letters also that were submitted. Is there anyone here who also wrote a letter, so that we're not doing the same thing twice? Okay. So, is there another person who wanted to speak? Nope. Okay. So, back to deliberation. I have a few things that I wanted to say as well, but...
Jill, just point of order, do the letters get read into the record?
They will get read into the... Would you like to read them? Actually, let's read them now. I asked some of the people who want... Yes, would you like to read one of them?
Yeah, sure.
You want to let us know which one, and then we can take that one off the list.
Amplify POC Cape Cod. September 30, 2024. Dear members of the Historic Commission, I am writing to express my strong support for initiatives that promote social, arts, and justice-centric public art, particularly those that uplift the voices and cultural expressions of historically excluded communities within our diverse community. Public art has the unique ability to not only beautify our shared spaces, but also to tell the stories of our collective history and cultural heritage. When we center the experience of marginalized groups, we enrich our community narrative and foster a deeper understanding of our shared humanity. Art that reflects the diversity of our community can bridge gaps, spark conversations, and foster inclusivity within our diverse community. Incorporating the perspectives of historically excluded communities into public art projects serves several essential purposes. 1, cultural representation. Art is a powerful medium for expressing identity and culture. By prioritizing the voices of those who have been marginalized, we acknowledge their contributions and celebrate our community's rich tapestry. 2, social justice. Public art can serve as a catalyst for social change. It can raise awareness of social justice issues, provoke thought, and inspire action. Art that engages with themes of equity and justice invites community members to reflect on the past while envisioning a more inclusive future. 3, community engagement. Engaging local artists and communities in the creation of public art fosters a sense of ownership and pride. Collaborative projects can empower individuals, build community ties, and promote dialogue around important social issues. 4, education and awareness. Public art can educate the broader community about the histories and cultures of those who have been historically excluded. This knowledge fosters empathy and understanding, essential for building a cohesive and inclusive community. I urge the Historic Commission to support and prioritize public art initiatives that emphasize social justice, cultural expression, and community engagement. By doing so, we ensure that our public spaces reflect the true diversity of our community and contribute to a more equitable and just society. Thank you for considering my thoughts on this important matter. I look forward to seeing how our community can continue to grow and thrive through inclusive and representative public art in peace, equity, and justice. Tara Vargas Wallace, founder, CEO, and president, Amplify POC, Inc.
Thank you very much. Would somebody like to read another one?
This is from Dylan McCarthy. Good afternoon. My name is Dylan McCarthy, and I'm a lifelong resident of Hyannis. I'm proud of my village's history and character, and I am frankly outraged by the Historic Commission's decision to reject the mural proposed to honor the legacy of Eugenia Fortes. In particular, comments made by some of the commissioners that the design wasn't historic enough and that they were looking for something relevant to everyone's history have both offended me and made me feel shameful of the place I call home. The history of Eugenia Fortes is the history of Hyannis and the legacy that every resident of our village should strive to live up to. By evoking this style of thinly veiled, hateful rhetoric, the Historic Commission has clearly failed to do so. I am begging to Historic Commission to reconsider their ridiculous position and allow the beautiful mural to go up. It is our duty as residents of the village of Hyannis and stewards of the land it was built upon to honor its history. If our Historic Commission refuses to do that, then what's the point of having one in the first place? Sincerely, Dylan McCarthy.
Thank you for reading that in. Would another commissioner like to read another one, please?
Sure. I don't know how to pronounce her first name or his first name, Lipe. I don't know if that's Lipe or Lipe. Lipe Curioso. Dear Ms. Pina, I am writing to express my strong support for the proposed mural on the side of 436 Main Street in Hyannis. This mural, designed by Desiree Filkins in honor to honor Eugenia Fortes, is a significant and meaningful addition to our community. The design of the mural was developed through a community listening session at the Zion Union Heritage Museum and adheres to all existing guidelines, including the use of the Historic Commission's approved colors and the historic New England paint colors of America. Despite this, the Historic Commission has not approved the design, citing reasons such as it not being historic enough and concerns about setting a precedent for murals in the district. I would like to highlight several key points in support of this mural. One, community reflection. The existing historic guidelines describe Hyannis as a lively, diverse commercial district, historic yet contemporary, and emphasize its variety of the interest created by independent use and ownership. This mural aligns perfectly with these descriptions and celebrates the multicultural heritage of our community. Two, reversible and non-intrusive. The plan for the mural ensures that the existing bricks are protected and the mural could be reversed if necessary. Additionally, the building on which the mural is proposed is not of historic significance and no architectural features or historic materials need to be preserved. Three, improvement of public spaces. This mural would enhance the neglected alleyway between Main Street and the North Street parking lot, which is a priority according to the guidelines. Four, cultural significance. Downtown Hyannis has a rich history as a multicultural center, welcoming diverse communities over the years, from Cape Verdean cranberry farmers in the 1800s to Brazilian and Caribbean families in the 1980s. This mural helps to tell the full history of our community, reflecting its true character and diversity. As Brazilian, I understand the importance of feeling a sense of belonging in a community. Art plays a crucial role in this as it brings people together and allows us to see our stories and histories reflected in our surroundings. This mural would not only beautify the area, but also strengthen the connection among the diverse residents of Hyannis, fostering a deeper sense of inclusion and community pride. It is crucial that we support initiatives that enhance our community's cultural and historical landscape. I urge the Historic Commission to approve this mural and allow it to become a part of Hyannis' vibrant and diverse history. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Lipe Borges on Wampanoag and Nauset land, native Brazilian on Wampanoag and Nauset land.
Commissioner, like to read one of the others? Okay, thank you.
Just to get through them. From Joy McCarthy. Good afternoon. I'm writing in support of the proposed Eugenia Fortes mural by Desiree Filkins in Hyannis. I'm outraged by the reasons for its previous disapproval, commissioners stating it wasn't historic enough or wasn't relevant to everyone's history. Denying this mural to preserve the character of downtown Hyannis is further suppressing this essential history. As a young person who has lived on in Hyannis my entire life, I was not taught about Eugenia Fortes until long after I finished high school. Her glaring absence in all my curricula, the result of shameful attempts to erase her legacy, how disappointed I am to see that such efforts are alive and well. The Historic Commission has let down Hyannis and betrayed its purpose. The only way to redeem itself is to reconsider this boneheaded decision and proudly display Desiree Filkins' beautiful artwork. Thank you, Joy McCarthy.
Another one.
This is from Erica Hyannis. Dear members of the Historic Commission, I'm the founder of Belonging Books and have dedicated my work to support underrepresented voices and stories. I'm writing to express my support for the proposed mural in the alleyway between Main Street and the North Street parking lot. From my research, I've learned that bringing underrepresented histories to light has become a top priority in historic preservation in recent years and in work to improve equity and build strong communities. This proposed mural does just that, paying homage to civil rights activist Eugenia Fortes and honoring Wampanoag culture and indigenous history. Cape Cod has long been a multicultural center, from the Cape Verdean cranberry farmers of the 1800s to the Brazilian and Caribbean families of the 1980s and beyond. Each of these communities has contributed richly to our town's character. We currently have a chance to reflect some of these histories in our public spaces through beautiful and vibrant art. The proposed mural would not only improve the alleyway, but also serve as a testament to our community's rich history and diversity. History and diversity that may not be obvious in the existing buildings. Importantly, the mural plan prioritizes the preservation of the existing brickwork and is designed to be reversible, ensuring that any changes can be undone in the future. Furthermore, the building itself lacks historic significance, and there are no notable architectural features or historic materials that necessitate preservation. When we balance out the factors, it feels like a straightforward decision. I urge the Commission to consider the positive impact this mural would have on our downtown area and for our Cape community. Supporting its implementation will bring underrepresented Cape history to light and build stronger communities. Thank you for your attention to this important matter. Sincerely, Erica Hyannis, founder and owner of Belonging Books.
I'll take one if you like. This is from Ella. I don't know if it's Sam Pow or Sam Poo. Not trying to butcher the name. Karen, please accept my written comment supporting the proposed Eugenia Fortes mural on the side of 436 Main Street. Despite having a local beach named for her, I never received an education about her role in the designation of Cape Cod beaches, founding our beach, our branch of the NAACP. I had to learn that my own accord as an adult, even though I am not a part of the Cape Verdean community or as a person of color. The history of the racial justice and civil rights on Cape Cod is still very much history, and is a history that includes us all, regardless of race or ethnicity. Additionally, Hyannis is what it is today, multicultural and vibrant, in part because of her hard work. The mural topic would be a perfect fit for the Historic District and a wonderful way to honor the great change maker for our community. We got one more.
I can take care of it.
Thank you.
This is Carolyn Newman. Eugenia Fortes mural is the subject. Hello, Karen. I would like to express my support for the Eugenia Swartz mural proposed for the Cordial Eye Gallery on the side of 436 Main, Hyannis. Eugenia Swartz activism on Cape Cod, which has garnered national recognition, is an essential and relevant part of our history. Standing up against segregation on the Hyannis beach that now bears her name, 1945. Founded the Cape Cod chapter of the NAACP, 1961. Hosting Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall and Reverend Martin Luther King on the Cape. Providing a report to Senator Ted Kennedy when the Freedom Riders came through Hyannis in 1961. Hyannis Library Board member for 40 years, United States Civil Rights Commission for 14 years. Sources: the history maker's Eugenia Swartz biography. We all benefit from the gains made by the civil rights movement. Murals like this can keep those memories alive. The mural will remind those aware of her legacy and prompt those who are not to ask, who was Eugenia Swartz, thereby learning a vital piece of our shared history. I ask the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission to approve this beautiful and meaningful mural. I appreciate your consideration. Carolyn Newman, 43 Sawmill Road, Marston's Mills, Mass. 02648.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all the commissioners who have actually read those in. I also want to thank Commissioner Clark for doing the timing. That was very helpful.
Before we move to deliberation, Professor Peters was teaching at UMass Dartmouth today and just was able to get here now. Is it possible to add him to public comment?
I have no problem with it. Commissioners, you okay?
Sure.
Commissioner Clark, can I impose on you one last time, please?
Sure, no problem.
If you could please, 3 minutes, please, and you'll have a 30-second, let you know when you're getting to the 3 minutes. And if you could, again, write your name and then state your name for the record, please.
Good evening. Thank you all for this opportunity. My name is Mualim Morgan James Peters. I'm the artistic director of Oversoul Theater Collective, as well as a tenured professor of English and Black Studies at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. And third credential, I'm a Mashpee Wampanoag elder. Came tonight in strong support of reversing the decision initially placed about the mural, and to correct some things. When we speak of history, we look at what happened with Eugenia Swartz initially. We look at the work that Eugenia Swartz has done. When you consider the fact that I'm 56 years old and this work predates my birth, and that 50 years marks what makes an antique, to say that this mural was not a representation of history is absolutely incorrect. 50 years beyond is, in fact, history, is, in fact, history changing. It's also interesting because I would almost bet the same people who would say that's not historic enough would say that civil rights was so long ago we should get over it. So what I'm trying to say is, and I would also want to speak to the fact that, as I mentioned with Oversoul Theater Collective formed in 1994. One of our main venues of presentation was at 10 Ocean Street, the Prodigal Son Cafe at the time. One of the second places that was a venue for us was across the street, otherwise known as Richard's Gallery. One of the reasons that Oversoul formed was because of the lack of opportunity and the lack of diversity when it came to the arts, literary arts, theater arts, performing arts, music in general. So therefore, to create this level of equity was a continuation of the work that Ms. Swartz had laid down, or I should say a portion of the work that she had laid down. So to say that, and part of the issue that we faced back then in 1994 was the construct of erasure. I'm glad to see that there are efforts to correct that. And it's unfortunate that the initial choice that was made was reflective that erasure is still part of the concept and thought process of people making decisions on behalf of the town.
30 seconds, sir.
I'll end it there. Thank you very much. Gatsabatash.
Thank you very much. And again, Commissioner Clark, thank you for going above and beyond on timing. Okay, so Commissioner Hinckley?
If the mural was approved, could you, I know you're trying to make it Cape Cod with the hydrangeas, but could there be historical colors on there?
There are. They're going
There's a
to.
list that aren't on the historical,
The,
I mean, the ones that are approved by the commission,
right, so the majority of the mural is with historic colors.
even the pink.
So that's where the color palette that's necessary to be accurate to the flora and fauna of the area is not possible with the existing color palette. And at our last meeting, the commission did agree that there could be an exception for accuracy.
And will her name be on there if approved? And so everybody knows who the picture is of?
Oh, Eugenia Forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good, that was I can't believe that we overlooked that. Thank you.
I'm sure that's, yeah, I mean, so it's certainly in the information with the, on the landing page the QR code attaches to, which I assume we could also have some signage saying, a version of that information appropriate for the area. But I don't think we would be opposed to adding in
absolutely
her name on the mural.
And I just want to comment about, I think, well, I'm concerned about having like all of downtown Hyannis not have murals everywhere. That's, it just doesn't look historic in a historic place to have, to me, my opinion, to have murals, whatever they are, all over Hyannis. Like I'd hate, to see that up and down the street. I don't know if that's where everybody else is coming from. I don't think everybody here doesn't want a mural of her on there. I mean, she is historic. She's part of Cape Cod history. I think it's just painting all of historic downtown. That's my opinion, But
So
thank you.
I'm going to say something, then I'm going to pass it over to Commissioner Wentworth, if that's all right with you.
Question about the flexibility of making change to the mural. My only question refers to the quote. And as we've heard tonight, there's some, and I've been, just so you know, I've been year-round as an adult on Cape Cod since 1971. I've had the very good fortune to work with many in the community for right up until this very day. So I hear what you were saying. But the quotes from Ms. Swartz are so good that a variety of them, I guess my question is two-part. Would there be an opportunity that instead of one big quote that sort of takes away from the beauty, in just my eye from the picture, I know it's tough, but I see the quote before I see the beauty of the mural. Would it be possible to have multiple quotes in a smaller font, or have a schedule of change? Is that something that could be done, or too expensive?
Having a schedule of change for the mural is probably not feasible. I mean, my specific background is not in design, and so I'm not sure really what the design ramifications of having a bunch of small quotes.
It starts to get unclear and a little bit cluttered to have too much text. It can sometimes muddy the water.
Well, but Commissioner Matthews read several that one quote for those who may not know the history of it or know the history of Ms. Swartz is in that how big that quote runs. I feel like two quotes would give a little bit more diversification to her quotes, and it might express it more specifically. Give it just a little bit more for someone viewing it to hear her with maybe two. So three I get might be too cluttered. So that simply a matter of procedure. Could you do it? Is it possible? Would you consider it? Something like that.
Before we answer that, well, go ahead and answer that, because I think we're kind of getting straight to it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we could speak with the artist that developed this design to kind of see her artistic opinion on that. I think, it's impossible to encompass the entire story of anything on a singular piece of artwork. And so there kind of comes a point where, we make choices. We make choices about, what we think most authentically tells the part of the story that the community is asking us to tell. And so, I hear you. I think we would be potentially open to considering some of her other words. We're not.
Commissioner Matthews, would you share with us where you found those other quotes?
Yeah, this is when she was actually given the Mercy Otis Woman of the Year award. She did an interview in the Cape Cod Times, and she gave a bunch of different quotes. One of them is, "Do what your heart tells you is right." There's many of them. "Deeds, not words, are what count." "Stand up and make your voice heard." Those are just three of them that I underlined that I thought had more positive messages from this article.
All from that same story?
From that same. It's called "In Mercy's Name" is the name of the article. It was written back updated back in January 6, 2011. And again, I understand what you're saying about the we, and I don't have it in front of me. Hold on. The "we aren't going anywhere." I get it. And after listening to one of our speakers, I kind of understand a little bit more. But I'm just saying that if you want someone to reflect on a saying, I just like those inspirational sayings better, and that's just my opinion. I mean, it's just one person's opinion.
I agree with you. I like the inspirational sayings a lot better. And this isn't even one of Eugenia Forte's quotes.
Yes, and it was
right. So this was the original mural, the original quote that we came before you with, and then we have presented additional. Yes.
So I'm going to make a few additions on that. So we've done all the letters. So I've been listening to what's been said here tonight, and I think it was stated, Tom, might even have been you who said it. It leaves out, I like Eugenia. I think she's a wonderful person, such a tremendous contributor to the history of Cape Cod. But I also found that it wasn't inclusive. It didn't include, I'm not sure if it was you, Tom. I apologize if it was somebody else. We have... This is a country of immigrants. We know it. I mean, the Indians were here first. I actually go back on one line towards Indians as well. But there's been growth, and I wanted to wait because last time because of the seeds, because I knew that quote, and I used to be a research journalist, plus my exposure to art. And I went back and found the sources of it. It's Christianopoulos out of Greece. And that's then, of course, it's been used very often. It was used in the women's movement. Most recently, it's been used in the Palestinian against Gaza, or the Gaza against thing. We don't want to be political. We are a historical commission, and we are tasked with our purpose to preserve and preserve the historical character of our community, not to create history. That is not what we are supposed to do. That being said, we represent the entire community. I agree. JFK, RFK, there's no Asian represented there. We have an Asian community as well. There's other people in our history. There's Bierce, there's Gosnell, there's the Pilgrims, there's Addicts, all those other ones. I would have liked to have seen other parts to unite the community, to unite, show the inclusion. In honoring our past, you said that the controversy is in the eye of the beholder. It is, but it's not to instigate. We've made it clear with the previous mural that one of the conditions is that we were non-political. History in that, granted, some art can be political, but we didn't want to be negative. I found the seeds to be defiant, and I also find the quote, for whatever, the best purposes, we're not going anywhere, to be defiant. I'd like to see something positive there. I would like the idea of including people from throughout our community of various races and quotes from them. We have such a wonderful community on that. To balance it, I wouldn't want it to be just a mural of Eugenia. Make it a mural of art representing the diversity, the inclusion of all the community. That's my personal feeling. Like I've always said, I am one voice, one vote. The other thing is, we had asked for an explanation. I was wondering where, when I looked up the other thing with the seeds, all the things it was used for, resilience kept coming out. Where was it? Do you know where that one is? Where's that located?
In Fitchburg.
Fitchburg. Because that, I managed to get what it actually said, and it was talking about.
So that was an example of Desiree's portfolio. So
Okay.
that's not part of the design in question.
Okay, so it was, okay, I know, but it was submitted as an example. It was all about suffering and justice. So, and by the way, you're right, it's a Vermeer. It's actually hanging in the Hague.
Right,
The one on
and
the woman,
that-
girl with the iron.
Right,
earring,
and
yeah.
that was a copy that she
Yeah,
had done
okay.
as a study.
So the other thing I wanted to bring to attention, it says here, sign, the brick is currently painted red, mural, etc. The building is not considered historically significant, and the wall in question does not have historic materials or architectural features. The point here is that it is in the historical district. That's the area that we are trying to protect the historical aspects. Who is it that said civil rights so long ago, so get over it? It's not. It's I think we all want to embrace our entire community, but that's my personal feeling. The flora and fauna, I have no problems with because exceptions for accuracy. We'd have a problem with people saying, why do we have that color on that? It's something else. I have no problems with Eugenia Fortes. I think she was fabulous, but I would personally prefer it be more inclusive and uniting the community on something like that, and not getting up with, being careful quotes, maybe multiple quotes from multiple people. That's my input on that. I want to thank all of our speakers and for your input. Any other commissioners have anything to say on the discussion? Commissioner Cronin.
Well, first of all, I thank everyone for coming this evening, and I can see that there is a passion here for trying to get this project back into the community, and I'm all for it. I think that that's something that we should be doing more of. I think that there's opportunities for people to do that. You said yourself that there is a process which you can do it on municipal buildings, but it's a long process. You have to take debt, you have to do paperwork, you have to get approvals. But there is a process, and there is opportunity to put public art everywhere where it can be seen and appreciated and used as an educational tool. It does not need to be in Hyannis, in the historic district, which was my point. The idea of changing the alleyway and improving it, we all discussed that the last time, that it needs lights, it needs more than painting. And I think that the community, I think the Historic Commission is like we are not what we are being depicted to be, and I shouldn't have to even defend that this evening. However, I feel that for some reason it's become that, and that's not a good thing. It's not bringing the community together. It's not helping us work with our business owners, our tourists, and the people in the community who live here and who want this to be a vibrant community. I just think that if we start putting public art everywhere, then in the historic district, it then becomes just it loses its character, and it loses its ability to just be inclusive. We talked about including RFK and JFK, and well, they have a museum. We're told, well, yes, exactly, but you know what? So doesn't everyone else. That anyone who wants to have a significance in this community, it's a shame that you haven't been taught about Eugenia Fortis. It's a shame that communities aren't doing that in their schools and in their programs, and that's terrible. But that's not what you're doing an alleyway in the historic district, and I would think that we could find another place and another location where this could be more appropriate and reach more people, get them to understand what this is all about. And I agree with the chairman person in saying that it should be more inclusive with all of the historic. To bring them together and how we all came together and live and work here. So I mean, I just, I don't know what else to say without trying to have to justify why I'm, on this committee and why we do need to preserve it. We are not against Eugenia Fortis. We are not against the community that we are trying to. You're trying to depict. I just think that you have other opportunities in other locations that you can do that and provide that involvement and become more educational, if that's truly what your objective is. That's what I'd like to say.
And yet, Commissioner Wentworth.
Question of procedure. Are we in deliberation now?
We are in deliberation, yes. Commissioner Carley.
Sure. I'd just like to begin by referencing some of the correspondence that accused the Commission of hateful rhetoric and racism. I find that to be completely and totally inappropriate and inaccurate. That being said, I think this is a tremendous piece. And I think that just because it doesn't include everybody doesn't mean that it can't stand on its own. It's a piece that belongs in the historic district because it is reflective of the history of the Cape. And I'd further point out, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Pleasant Street included within the zone of what we're doing?
Which part of Pleasant Street?
Right by the transportation center. Does it reach out that far?
We go to the transportation center. Is that not correct, Jim? We go to just shy of it.
Oh, Pleasant Street heading to the harbor in between.
Yeah. Isn't there
that is. Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
There is. That was you're talking about at Bradford's Hardware.
That was approved.
That
by
is.
this
That
commission.
yeah.
That was approved.
Yeah. That's down by the harbor.
Well.
That mural may be considered offensive to certain people, too. I mean, it's difficult to get involved in these subjective interpretations, and for the same reason, I am of the opinion that, and I would agree with the English professor, we could talk about textual interpretation. Mm-hmm. The words stand on their own. You don't have to know the history to appreciate the words for however you want to interpret them. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily agree with that. The nature of this person that we're talking about that's at the center of this is, I did not know much about this individual, is historic, but to whitewash or sugarcoat her history and her voice and what she went through, I think that would be really inappropriate. So I think if you're going to approve it for what it is and not what we'd like it to be, because that's kind of tied up with who she was and what she did, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. I love that you could build an educational piece around this, and that's why I like the picture, and that's why I like the Q code, because this could be a conversation. We have a lot of kids in the high school there, if I'm not mistaken, Sturgis, who are right there. And when you talk about the location, I know you talked about this last time, I frequently go through that location. It's a very scary place. I like that this mural stretches the length of the building because it kind of really provides something that I find very attractive and interesting that goes the length of the building. I like the whole idea that the mural is intended to incorporate aspects of quilting, which I didn't know either until right now, and I think that's terrific. So I can't vote tonight, but I'm very much in favor of this. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Matthews.
So last Monday, after our public meeting with the planning department, planning board, I couldn't sleep when I got home. I thought that meeting, unfortunately, went from suggestions of what we wanted to do and how we saw the district and the historic art and public art into sandbagging. Now, I'm saying this because I'm going to echo what Commissioner Cronin, Commissioner Crowley have said, both at the mic today and in the letters. We've heard racism. These are the same people that say civil rights, get over it, trying to erase the legacy of Eugenia Swartz, calling us, spreading hate rhetoric. We can't do this as a community. If we have a different opinion, again, we're volunteer members of the community trying to keep our district in a historical way, which is what we're told to do. That's what's on our code. So even if we have a difference of opinion on a certain piece of art and how it looks and how it fits, I think it's wrong for you to immediately try to go or sense or pivot that into, we have racist undertones and we don't think civil rights is important and all that. That's wrong. I actually did a lot of research on Eugenia Swartz, not for this. Where I work at my radio station, we honor, during International Women's Month, we honor different women who were crucial to the fabric of Cape Cod. I chose Eugenia Swartz as one of them. I also chose Tara Vargas Wallace as one as well. So to come here as a volunteer, as a commissioner, to try to make my community better and to hear these things, it just bothers me. Because we're on the same team. We all want what's best for the town. Now, when you came to us on the 21st, I will say, we're caught off guard because we didn't have any kind of guidelines or thought process of what a mural would be on the Cape. It didn't come to us. All was like, oh my God, there's one mural, there'd be more stuff. So we were trying to wrap our heads around that while trying to make a decision. So there could have been some comments or there could have been some things where we're just trying to feel our way through that we weren't sure how this was all going to turn out yet. Now, for my personal opinion, with these new changes, I'm your ally. I like that mural. One of the main things I didn't like was the previous saying, you know your seeds. Because if we're going to honor Eugenia Swartz, let's use one of her quotes. She was such an eloquent woman talking about civil rights, not only civil rights, but the elderly and the homeless and immigrants. Why choose a person who it doesn't equate with her? Use one of her quotes. In fact, if you go back and read the notes, or if you go and watch watch it on video, that's what I said. I've always been a supporter of the work that Eugenia Swartz did. And by the way, in case you don't know, and you probably do, the town of Barnstable bought her a rocking chair, so she could go to town council and sit in a rocking chair and crochet.
Which is at our museum.
Is it at the museum? So, again, I support this mural. I think the colors of flowers are great. You can't paint black and white colors on flowers or grays or browns. I think it's vibrant. To be honest with you, like I've said, I think it's going to be hidden where that's such a beautiful piece of art that it's too bad. And yes, it'll be down the alley and it'll be fine, but it's too bad. But with her picture, her name, and a quote, I think that, to me, brings that together to do what you say you're trying to do, which is honor the memory of a civil rights leader, one of us on Cape Cod. And the only other thing I want to say is I agree with the QR code. I think that's very important because you can't put all the meanings of what you're trying to say, and just people are going to understand them. Have plaque on the mural, a QR code so someone can scan it and listen and watch, or maybe it's a video, maybe it's just pictures, maybe it's just words or what have you. I think it's very important. But again, I have no problem with this mural. I do have a problem with us being at each other's throats when we kind of want the same thing. So, I'm not an artist. I'm very, very easy to say that. Okay. But I know what I think is nice. And I think this is nice. I have no problem with it where it is. And I have no problem with who it's honoring. So, that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin.
Is there anyone else, other commissioners, that had anything to say?
I'd just
Commissioner
like
Cronin?
to
Yes,
say
Commissioner
one thing. I totally agree with everything that Kevin said tonight. And I was also offended by a lot of the comments and the letters that were here altogether. I don't like that saying, okay? And I've said that from the beginning. I like Eugenia Swartz. I think her name should be on there. I think that's amazing because people walking by won't even know who she is. But let's use, if we're going to do it, some uplifting, we're not going anywhere. I think I don't like that. I just personally don't like that comment, okay?
Eugenia Swartz was a defiant woman.
She's
Everybody
also
else
benevolent.
does. Other people don't know
I'm not
her
out of
history,
I'm out of
okay?
turn.
I'm telling you what I like if we want to do this. I think the mural's great. I do not like the saying. I think we should do more uplifting sayings.
And what I have a question about, and I really do mean this with all due respect, when we are considering public art vis-a-vis the historic district, is what individual members of this commission like part of the guidelines? And I feel like that's a lot, we're hearing like, we don't want anything political, but if you did JFK or RFK, that'd be good, and it's like, how is that not political? And also, but I almost don't even want to get into the weeds on that, because is what individual members of this commission personally prefer what the role is? That your role? And again, this is
when I said JFK and RFK, okay, I was just saying maybe, we came up with Eugenia Swartz. Maybe we should look at other people. I didn't say we just do JFK.
Yeah.
I'm saying we just came up with Eugenia Swartz, who's a wonderful woman, okay? What I meant by that, is there other people out there we might want to celebrate? That's all I meant by that.
Pierce and Gosnold, yeah.
Can I ask a question? If our goal is to come together and come up with a mural, compromise is not a bad thing.
Right.
I think, and I don't know because I haven't talked to anybody and I don't know how the whole thing's going, but I think you're getting a leaning of this committee to go with this mural. The only thing we're saying is, can you compromise with us and maybe do a different saying?
And so, yeah, I think we've led with that tonight, that we're happy to put a new quote in. We are not attached to the Seeds quote. We put in a quote that we liked of Eugenia Swartz because we thought it was really in the spirit of her great work in this community. We're open to considering other quotes, certainly.
Okay.
We're open to putting her name on it. We've added her portrait as well to have a more sort of literal gesture toward what this mural is about, to make it less abstract. I think, though, this, there's been a lot of conversation in the last few minutes that, in the world of social justice work is actually called whataboutism, where it's like, well, what about this person? What about that person? Can we do that person? And it's like, yeah, there's an infinite number of wonderful people in this community that could be honored in a mural. This is who we want to honor for this one, and she's just as worthy of a subject as any other.
Maybe more worthy.
Well,
maybe more worthy.
Can I just go back to the question that she asked, is that, this committee did agree to a change in our mural section, which is it would be historic and maritime of character. And that's what we all agreed to. The fact that it didn't get agreed to with the planning board joint committee, that's not relevant, because we did agree to that is what we wanted, because we did not have anything for murals in the historic district, in the waterfront district. And I think then, yes, we do have to be careful as to where and what and how many we put in the historic district. It has nothing to do with whether we like the artist, or whether what your position is, or what your stances are. It has to do with, as a community, what should we be doing in the historic district? And I think the murals are something that, before we approve anything, we need to decide, what is that? Where are they supposed to go? How many do we have? And you have opportunities to go elsewhere. So you're not like restricted to this alley or to the historic district. And that's where I'm coming back to is, it doesn't seem to me, I don't get the feeling that we're being included, that it is an inclusive process. I think it's more of a, well, this is what you're going to get, and that's what we'll have to stay with. And I think that we maybe just need to either stick with what we agreed to. It's going to be maybe a diverse historic and maritime, but have something a little bit more into the historic district, or decide ahead of time within our guidelines how do we approve them, so that we're not coming into this constant barrage of negativity, which is not due, as everyone has said. I just don't understand it. So
I would also like to just speak back to that for a moment, that the fact that there's a view on this committee that the voices of historically excluded community members and them vocalizing those feelings of exclusion and feelings of the erasure of their history is negativity is a big problem. Like, it's a big problem that folks are coming to public comment with their earnest, lived experience, and that's being written off as like negativity.
But where do you? But that's my thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know where. Well, hold on.
I don't.
Let me
Yeah, hold on a minute.
Where have you heard that? Where did any of
Yeah,
us
where-
say we don't believe in
Right.
Black history or
But
Eugenia
give us
Where was
a
that
quote
said?
on that.
So there are comments such as, this is not everybody's history. So there are comments about the fact that this is depicting a civil rights figure.
I don't remember that feeling at
No.
all in this board.
No.
And multiple times people have spoken about how this is not inclusive of everyone's history. And that in and of itself that's not a neutral value. Like, if we don't see the Black history of Cape Cod as everybody's history, that is how racism functions systemically.
Listen,
in a
I see
community.
Black history.
You did not say that.
I'll tell you where that comment came from. That was the gentleman that came by and was speaking and said that, people comment on the civil rights was so long ago, so get over it. We did not say that. That was one of our speakers. That was one of our speakers. Excuse me, I am speaking, I am the chair. I just want to clarify that was one of the people in public comment. We did not make that comment.
Mary's referring to a comment that was made in our first hearing about this mural. And there was not anyone who came with us for public comment that evening. It was a small comment that may have gone unnoticed by members of the commission if it wasn't one that, that's the kind of comment that is small and quick. And it can be easy to miss if it's not one that impacts you. It was something that was said in the meeting that we were at for the first hearing for this.
It's televised. We can go run the tape, can't we?
Yep.
Wentworth.
So I feel strongly about supporting what you're trying to do here. I have been in the position of being an adult in 1970. Been through, I was in D.C. in riots for Martin Luther King. My home was in Arlington, Virginia. When I opened the Hyannis Cooperative Bank in 1973, one of my early customers came in. This was the branch at what used to be called the Kmart Plaza that's being redone now. And he was Wampanoag descent, and his name was Joe Pina. And I took a mortgage application from him, and he looked at me and said, I have to tell you, it's a strange position for me sitting here as a black man in front of a young white woman asking for a mortgage. I said, my dad was military. I've lived all over the world. He fought all over the world as a fighter pilot. I've been taught that. I have no brothers, one sister. He raised me as a person, not as a female. And I don't see color, and I don't see gender. I just see value. Mr. Pina became a very, very dear friend. Gratefully, the mortgage was approved. He had a taxi company. He would never let me pay my fare for the rest of the time that I was at the bank. I feel very strongly what you're doing. I had the honor of being in the same community with Eugenia Swartz. I know the Mercy Otis Warren award and what it stands for. I would like to see this approved. Sadly, I was ill on the night of your presentation, and I'm not eligible to vote tonight. But I'd like to add that in many communities, murals in alleyways particularly, have not just illuminated the way from one street to the next, but has illuminated, you're in an alleyway, so this is at the moment wider than it might be, but you have an opportunity to do this and see and read and enjoy the colors and how it changes what has been there, in my view, as a child growing up in the summers here, and then as an adult since 1971, the change that has come to Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been involved in many, as my fellow commissioners know, I've been involved in many different organizations over these last 50 years. I'd like to see this in that particular location. I know you have some challenges. This is why my ask about how difficult would it be to use perhaps some different quotes, her quotes. Commissioner Matthews really gave you some really good information there. I do feel that being a woman of the 70s has helped me see some terrible, terrible times, but to see some great progress now that I'm very happy has happened for my children and my grandchildren, particularly my daughters and granddaughters. So I thank you very, very much for being here tonight. I hope some of you may have known Mr. Pina. And I'd like to see this approved. I hope you will consider our comments. You have such a supportive group here, but truly, truly. We are also here to defend the historic buildings, the architectural character, and so I think that sometimes it's okay to push the walls a little bit and bring us forward by stepping out. We don't have to approve every mural. You might be the, well, what about their mural? You might be the what about. So we'll see. But I just would like to tell you how much I care about what you're doing, why you're doing it. I support you 100%, and I wish I could give you my vote tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
All right. Jim?
Yes, to get to the subject matter, Anasteci, do you mind bringing up the slide with the updated mural? So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page as to what is being discussed to potentially be approved. So we have, the top one there that is the proposed updated quote, and then it seems like the bottom one is if you were to potentially vary the quote.
Yeah, I mean, that's an example with the quote removed completely, but
I think that we're in agreement, though, as a group, that having a quote from Eugenia Swartz makes this a stronger design.
I think it's essential. Yeah, I do.
Absolutely. What?
A positive quote.
A positive quote.
So to that.
Not that, I think that's kind of what we were saying, was not that one, using something else.
No, I find that questionable.
So if the commission generally is in agreement of the mural and would like to see the updated quote, perhaps, you could either condition that, or they could bring it back at the next meeting with the suggested quote and any other changes that may be discussed this evening, but I haven't heard really anything other than maybe adjusting that quote with the updated.
I think that was the key thing.
But also it was suggested, asked if we could add any of the other more inclusive of historic, so that you could bring the community together.
I would like to see that, to be honest.
Is that something they would consider?
Can I suggest, we've done this in the past, and it seems to have worked out. because we like to make things work, and sometimes you have to kind of wiggle around and make things work. What I would suggest is we continue it, give you a chance to come back to us. We can suggest quotes. I would personally like to see others that have never really received recognition in there as well. I mean, you have the waterway there. It might be worth quotes from other people. I like. My suggestion was was quite well known, but also so that it is being more inclusive. That's my personal feeling. But I'd like to see something on that wall, but I'd like to get. I'm going to do jump around and ask some of the people who've already spoken, but I'd like to get an update from some of the people. Tom, you've been speaking about it. Can I ask you where you are with this at the moment?
I would love to see it more inclusive, like you said.
More inclusive as well.
We have good history, we have bad history. So many times we concentrate on the bad part of our country. But I like this mural, okay? And I like honoring Eugenia. I told you I just didn't like the quote. I wanted something more uplifting. That's my feeling.
Inclusive, what did you mean by that? Did you want others in it, or did you either quotes from other people, or what did you want? When you say inclusive, if you could define that.
I'd see maybe more people in there. Why just one person? You know, is there somebody else you want to honor, or is it just you just want to keep it at one person? I don't know, but my biggest problem was a quote.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem as well because of its use.
You know, if you could make it more inclusive, you're the artist. See what you can do.
Okay, well, we're doing the deliberation now.
To me, it was a quote.
Can I ask if there's an opportunity for the business community and the business improvement district, that a committee to take a look and see, because it is going to be part of Main Street, and they have a very integral part of what goes on there.
Elizabeth Worfbein was notified of this meeting tonight, and she didn't attend. She's aware of this design.
Yeah, I think she came to the first one, didn't she?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
No, she doesn't come there.
But yeah, we work with Elizabeth on a regular basis, and I think if she didn't approve of this, she would.
She would have been all over it. Yeah, I know Elizabeth did.
Approval of the person that you're facing.
Yeah.
You know, the friend that you said that you mentioned their name. The other building.
The Kudos family's building.
Get their approval.
I mean, are they not notified with this application materials prior to the meeting? All abutting
The abutters should have been.
Right, so to that effect, though, the commission could consider, since the alleyway is the abutting property, so there's no true access to this wall.
Right.
So a condition could simply be that there is approvals for access from the abutting property that would work twofold to allow for.
I think that's an excellent idea.
And is it going to be lit?
Well, it is dark. Yeah.
So I can just touch on that real quick. So again, it's not their property that alleyway is, it's the abutting property, and that is actually through the renovations that will be lit, and there will actually be seating in that alleyway for the Dunkin' Donuts that was approved a few years ago.
And you have permission from the owner?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And we have that on file, I take it? I'm trying to remember back to last
The owner
meeting.
of the building of the wall on it?
I'm trying to remember. I know when do I have to let that go. Commissioner Hinckley Needham, can I?
I'd like to excuse myself.
Commissioner Clark, did you have anything to say on this?
I think we have quorum, and I think that the applicant has made their presentation, and we should vote.
Okay. Kevin, you've already...
I agree, but I also think there's nothing more inclusive than civil rights. I have no problem with the mural as it is, honoring a woman who did so much for civil rights, not only in this area, but across the world, the country and the world, with her statements and what she did. I have no problem. I just don't like that quote. That's the only thing.
I like that quote.
I understand you do.
I know I can't talk.
No, but I just wish, because I read about her history and stuff, I just see she's such a positive force. I just like a quote that makes me think a little bit more. That's not, we aren't going anywhere. I understand it's a strong statement, and here we are, and you got to deal with this. Okay, I get it. I understand that. But do what your heart tells you is right. Deeds, not words, are what count. Those make me think. And that's why I like those quotes better. But again, I have no problem having it dedicated to the one woman who I think we should honor with something like this. I have no problem voting for that right now. Again, the quote is the only thing I wish we could reconsider. That's it.
We still have another commissioner to hear what he has to say, or if he has anything to say, so not quite right now. Commissioner Watson, is there anything you wanted to say?
I grew up with, my father was a high school principal, and he was one of the board of directors of the Metco program in Boston. And he was good friends with Elma Lewis and Gene McGuire. So I wholeheartedly agree with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a different quote? Okay. Looks like Commissioner Hinckley Needham does have something to say.
No,
Oh, you look like
in
you
my
did.
head I do. I have a question, though.
Yes.
If we continue it, do the four of us who don't have voting get to vote next time?
Yeah, you want to open meeting law quote?
One member of the commission can mullen in,
Yeah.
which is the certificate that says you've reviewed the one you missed. So one member can submit and now be a voting member, which would bring a full 7.
Which you would have, as Karen had explained, she had sent that out in an email because there's 3 of you, I believe. And we've had this before. You mullen in, you sign that you have seen the tape from the first one. That's because nobody mullened in. We therefore, couldn't use that tonight, but we can use it for there. But you will have to watch that first tape and sign off, and then give that to me, and then I sign off to say that you've confirmed that you've seen it. That's the procedure. And just for the record, because we had one once where 2 people sent them in, I tend to accept the first one because I don't, I'm not going to pick and choose.
Should it be a regular member?
Oh,
as
yeah, it should
opposed
be a
to
regular member. Yes, that's true. Okay.
You got to think about that.
That's true. Thank you for clarifying that. So a regular member. Okay. Thank you. You got that one. I didn't.
If I could ask Jim, this is kind of a question for you. I think I heard you say this, and I want to clarify if I'm understanding it correctly. Is there a possibility where we're able to take a vote this evening with a condition attached to it, where we can, submit a quote that perhaps feels more amenable to the whole group, that could perhaps avoid us all having to come in and continue this full request? I'm sure we're all getting tired of I know I'm very good looking, but I'm sure you'd be okay with not seeing me again in here for a while.
I think the little one you're toting is probably done with it, too.
Yeah.
I personally would like
sleep.
to see the final product
Right,
before we vote.
I would
Agree.
too,
I would like
yeah.
to see the final product and not send it off with an amendment.
Okay.
One else?
I agree with Commissioner Clark.
A couple of
I
options.
can vote right now with the exception of the quote, and then come back and give us, different ideas of the quote, and we go, there you go. But that's up to, them, one person, one vote.
So, it's so the two options here, it looks like, is the 2 options would be to just have a quote that will be sent to, options will be sent back, and then we can send back to Jim or to Karen what we feel, or consider it in our next meeting on which one we will accept, or that we want to come back and have the, see the actual finished version.
I would like to see the actual finished version, but also, is there any consideration for adding more inclusive?
I don't think so. I think this mural is about Eugenia Swartz, and as one of the commission, maybe it's Commissioner Matthews, you said there's like civil rights literally is inclusive. That's literally what that is. And so I don't think we're open to changing the nature of the mural to include other important historical figures, as relevant and wonderful as they may be. And I hope we see more public art about more great folks in the future.
Love to do more projects about more historical figures.
But we're 100% open to a new quote. I don't think we're open to changing the subject matter of the mural.
I guess I think that that's kind of where I'm at, is that, I'm torn between, I have no problem with the subject of what you're trying to do. I have a problem with it being in historic. But I would not agree to having anything just come back with a revised quote. I'd like to see the finished product. And I would like, we would then have other discussions on how do we fit the rest of anything else in this historic district, because this is
So my
not what it's meant to
suggestion,
be.
you can let me know if I'm wrong on the point of order. I'm assuming then that Commissioner Cronin should put out a certificate of appropriateness for what she's trying to do, and then we'll vote on it and then go from there, correct?
That's one way of doing it. I prefer that we let all the commissioners weigh in on that.
Without
does
the
anyone
vote?
else feel the same way? Does
I
anyone-
said, have you actually put a certificate of appropriateness for the way that you would like to proceed? Then we all vote, and if it's agreed, then we go your way. If not, we have another proposal of a different way. But
I think Ms. Cronin would like to see the finished product.
Yeah,
which-
okay, right.
Does anyone else want to see the finished product?
finished product before we vote on it.
Anyone else? Any other commissioner like to see the finished
I
product?
think there's a consensus among the group, and I can't speak for the whole group, that really
you
what
can't,
the main focus is the quote.
It's the quote.
And I think there are many different ideas in the room, but I think the consensus in the room is about the quote.
I agree. Any other comments from any other commissioner? Okay. In that case, just to reiterate, and at this point I am closing public comment. We're going for a motion. Commissioner Crowley, Commissioner Watson.
What are we voting on?
Well, I just wanted to first just make sure who knows they can vote. And Commissioner Hinckley Needham is not voting. The ones who are voting is Commissioner Matthews, Commissioner Clark, Commissioner Cronin, Commissioner Kay, Commissioner Doherty, and myself.
Are we voting to extend this until?
Well, that's not a motion. I'm just letting you know where it is. So who would like to make a motion?
All right, let me do this. I'm going to submit a motion that the committee accept the design that is presented by the Cordial 436 Main Street, Hyannis, map 309, 219 parcel, with the restriction that the mural itself is approved, the design of the mural approved. However, the quote will be changed. We'll work together to get a different quote at the next meeting when they come back. That's my.
Can we do that?
A change that we need to approve. Jim, it looks like you had something to say.
I don't think
So the options here, a motion has been made to accept with the condition
Correct.
that you would review the quote at a subsequent meeting, which is essentially the commission saying you've approved it, but with potentially a minor modification to that, and you would review that at the next public meeting together.
And I would suggest options more than just and make that a condition.
Options of different
Quotes.
historical artists?
No,
Oh, different quotes. Yes, no, I agree. 100%.
options, more than one, because we've had
That's
two
my-
so far, and
That's my motion, is that we approve the mural as it looks on the bottom there, and then we're going to discuss the different quotes that would be put in there. That's my motion.
What is that doing, though?
Yeah, but so may I just remind the
Yeah.
group too, though, so if second and voted and 4 members don't agree to
Right.
that, it is denied. So
Then we pick it back up from the beginning
it
anyway.
would be refile and start over.
and there's only 6 that are voting, so they need 4 of the 6.
All right, okay.
Okay?
I'll withdraw the motion.
Oh, why?
Well, because no offense, we can't keep, this is going on forever. We got to end this one.
Well, if you want to go to, you made the motion, so.
But right, but if that motion is going to mean, it'll be off the table, and we're going to start
don't
this
want it off.
process all over again. No one has seconded it, no.
Why don't I make a motion just to move, to move this to our next meeting so we can see the new quote that they're going to put on the artwork.
Okay, fine.
Is there, first of all, are you willing to accept the withdraw your motion? I think you did withdraw your motion.
I withdrew
Yeah.
the motion.
Is there a second to Commissioner Doherty's
Second.
motion? Seconded by Commissioner Matthews. So the motion is that we will have alternatives that will be submitted for us, and we will consider the approval, final approval on that, which I think would be a much shorter one. Jim, you had something to say. I can always tell when you have something to say.
Yes, so motion to continue the matter is essentially what's on the table.
To what date?
Now, there is a time frame to review these applications, so it has to be mutually agreed to by the applicant. So if the applicant is willing to also agree to continue the matter to October 16th, then you would consider it. Otherwise, if not, then you would have to make a decision.
Do that. I want to make sure 16th is still within, and we can give them an exemption, right?
That's your next date.
Okay. Are you okay with that? We're just talking about quotes. Or we can go for a vote tonight. It's your choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's being indicated, if there's a vote gone for tonight, there's not.
There's been positive and there's been different things.
Because someone's going to mull in.
That's true.
Sure.
For next time.
Probably. We can't
Yeah.
guarantee, but there probably will be a mulling in.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Do you want to continue it, or would you rather not and go for a vote? It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean,
Or do you want a few minutes to think about it? I can call a recess for 5 minutes, let you go and powwow.
Could recess for 5 minutes,
Okay.
that'd be great. Yeah.
So let me make it official. Dave, we're going to take a 5-minute recess.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Do I have to do this on camera and on mic? My question.
If it's a procedure thing, but if it's a question on this, then we want to make sure it's on camera.
I'm trying to understand, we're going to continue this, but are we continuing this with, that's what we're going with, and we're looking for quotes?
Yeah, they're going to just.
So we're
They
not
haven't
going to
decided.
continue with it, we will on different figures. and
They want
historical
to make a
figures.
decision on what they want to do. So we're giving them 5 minutes to go powwow.
It's just a quote.
Yeah, I'm confused, because I've heard, we want different historical figures. So where are we? We doing the one Eugenia
The
Ford?
motion that was made to come back with quote, different
Okay,
quotes.
that's
And
fine.
that we can, want to see the final version.
Same mural.
Same mural.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to find out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Portrait.
Yes.
I might not be able to help you. You might be.
Thank you. All right, so we're up and running again.
It's amenable to us to continue this request to the October 16th meeting, at which time we will present this design with the subject matter at hand with a couple of different Eugenia Fort's quote options that are hopefully a little bit more in line with the desires of the commission and
And also
Welcome to
Ms.
an agreement.
Fortz's name, Ms. Needham, we got you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you. We'll add her name.
And the plaque and QR code, I think that's great for the history of it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that part too.
So that we can be fully ready, does the plaque need to go before sign permitting? Or can we have just something like very like similar in scope to what we have at the art wall?
Right. You mean
But-
before this group?
Yeah. Right.
Right, yeah.
Before we get here on October 16th?
Is it going to be on a sign?
Well, I would assume a plaque is a plaque a sign?
And a plaque with the QR code on it.
I would say just like you did over at the community art wall, right?
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what, take a picture of that, I would say, and show the group.
And we can
Just
record the
make
text
it
that
make
would
it
be included.
make it a part of it, but I
Yeah.
don't see that as being an issue, to be honest.
Okay.
Just so we make sure we dotted the i's and crossed the t's. Okay, so I will make a motion that we continue this application as per the agreement for with optional quotes so that we can see the what would be the finished project. I'll take any input here if I'm missing anything.
No, I think you're good. I
It's
will second your
October
motion.
16th, and that there will also be additional to that, the plaque just added to it. Is there a second?
Yes, I second that.
All right, so the ones that can vote, I am going to... Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Abstain.
Commissioner Clark.
Abstain.
So, 1, 2, 3. I will say aye. It passes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Continuation.
So that way you don't have to go find the article.
Great, thank you, appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
All right.
May I make that announcement now, Madam Chair?
Oh, yes. This is Julia Johnson. She just wanted to state something to us.
I'd just like to extend an invitation.
If you could speak into the microphone, please.
I'm sorry. I'd just like to extend an invitation to everyone on this commission to call me so that you can come over to Zion Union Heritage Museum and see the display that we have in our honoring of Eugenia Fortz. My number is 77.
If you could send it to planning. Send it to planning, because you're
Okay, I can do that.
being
Absolutely.
advertised to the whole
The
community.
whole world.
Thank you. So I will send that.
You'll have to hire more people.
Actually, I think I have it in my.
You have no idea what that would do to spam.
I would love to see that
Calls.
chair, so I'd be very interested in going.
The chair is fabulous.
I bet it is.
But the quilt really has my heart.
Build it here.
But you can't sit
Really does.
Can't sit on it. No, I know.
Well, it's not with the
Like you put
cripple.
a
We
sign on
can't
those
rock in
things,
the
do not
chair.
touch furniture. I got you. I got
And you can
you.
take all the pictures you want. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Be well.
Right. Is she gone? Oh, here. So we had our other one that was not here at the time that we tried to hear her application. So Emily Swartz, DBA Coastal Homes Realty Group, map 357, parcel 115, with regard to signage. 357 Main Street. That's right, so there's a correction there. Yes, and if you could sign in, and if you could also state your name after you sign, and then tell us about your project. Sorry to make you wait. We didn't realize who you were.
That's okay. I was in the wrong room. I haven't done this before. So I was like listening to the.
How's the school committee meeting over there? Was it good?
I'm
Probably know all too well by now where we are.
Well, I have a kid at BUES, so I'm kind of listening. I'm like, oh, this is intriguing. Okay. Hi, I'm Emily Swartz. I own Coastal Homes Realty Group on Main Street, and I'm just applying for some signage. It is replacing the existing signs that were there for the art gallery, and they are just black and white, and pretty much my logo, a hanging sign, and a sign that affixes to the front of the building that states that we do rentals, sales, commercial, and residential real estate.
Where the heck did that one go?
Well, I have a lot of problems with this. It's going to take a while. I'm just kidding. I'm playing with you. I'm just playing. Can you just tell me the what is that sign hanging on there off the building?
That one. I threw mine away.
It is a metal hanger that has been there.
Okay, so it's existing?
Yes, it was
Gotcha.
previously
Okay.
existing.
I bet you'll never be late for a meeting.
No. I wish I brought snacks.
So do I. That's a whole different story.
And the sign guidelines, do we have to omit telephone numbers?
You're supposed to omit telephone numbers and emails,
Yeah.
yes.
Can you just omit that? Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, the one on the building itself.
Yep, that's fine.
Not a problem.
So, public comment?
Accept.
Any questions on the presentation?
Grant a certificate.
Yes, of appropriateness.
Let's send this girl home. She's had a long day.
And again, thank you very much for bearing with us.
Of course. All right.
We're not done yet.
Oh, okay.
You're almost there. Hang in there.
Any questions on the presentation and the project?
No questions.
Okay. Public comment open while we do our deliberation. Any deliberation? Does everybody like it?
All
Whatever.
done. I'm good.
I'm done.
Jack seems to have a problem. You see Jack there?
Sometimes it's, I was just going to say, sometimes it, yeah. Okay, in that case, I will, staff, anything you wanted to add?
Nothing further.
Jim? So, in that case, I will close public comment and ask for a motion on the certificate, on the findings. Sorry, that's late.
I would move that the commission find this application from Emily Swartz and DBA Coastal Realty.
Sorry, we have a full commission.
Oh, we do on this one. I'm sorry. I want to make
That's
no
right.
motion whatsoever.
That's right. Well spotted, Jim. Thank you. I didn't spot that. I would have gotten halfway through before. Sorry about that. So.
For those snacks.
You're up.
Yeah.
Good job, Jay.
No, I don't count right now.
Would anyone in the
count. You're very
would
valuable.
anyone in the commission? I'm tired. I move that commission find this application to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district at 357 Main Street, Hyannis.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Seconded by Jack?
Both Jack and Trevor. Okay, there we go. So in that case, Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Hinckley-Needham. Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Crowley.
Aye.
I also say aye. All right. Okay. So commission on the motion on the certificate of appropriateness.
I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness to the application at 357 Main Street as described in the submitted materials.
Seconded by Commissioner Cronin. Commissioner Crowley?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Hinckley-Needham?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay? I also
Aye.
say aye. So you've got it.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you again for bearing with us.
Light and a green light installed somewhere, so if I see it red, okay, I can't say anything. If it's green, okay, I can. Yeah, it'd be good.
Commissioner Clark, again, thank you for being taking care of the timing tonight.
Again, you're
Apologies
welcome.
to Commissioner Matthews that you didn't get to vote in everything, and also to Commissioner Wentworth and Commissioner Watson. But thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much to the entire commission for dealing with it. Was not an easy one. They're not all super easy, but we had a job to do. And also thank you to Jim and Karen. And just lastly, does our town council liaison, Town Councilor Boone, have anything to say?
No.
Okay. Quickly, matters not reasonably anticipated after the vote. Justin.
Could I just make a quick thing? I would like to talk about the rewording of that 7B, if possible, at one of our next meetings, if not the next one, because I don't know how quickly that's going to go. When's our meeting with the full thing again?
November
18th. Oh, no, sorry.
So if we
16th.
If we discussed it on the 6th, would that be enough time to put it on an agenda so that way everybody knows what's going on next time?
October 16th is the next one.
So you're in a public hearing on this matter, so really shouldn't be deliberating outside of that public hearing.
I agree.
As a group.
Okay.
So if you have comments, suggestions, I would say send it to me.
Okay.
And maybe we could chat. And then I believe the chairs and maybe one or two other people were gonna convene, not a quorum, just to kind of work through any issues.
All right.
All right, well, that would be my recommendation.
I've emailed that to you, so I mean, whatever you want to, however you want to do it.
So-
Next time we walk in there with them, I'd like to, everyone to know what's going on.
But we should also
Commissioner
discuss this
Matthews.
I agree.
ourselves.
No, that's why I asked.
Yeah,
if
we should
talk
discuss
about
this
it.
ourselves.
Yeah. If you could send
The
it,
next
because it's
meeting.
not on the agenda and because it is something on something that's going back to the, I would suggest that send the suggestions to planning. Commissioner Matthews, I'd like to talk to you about what you've got there, because the subcommittee is going to be meeting again to go over that and to try to come in. We can incorporate yours as well. I welcome your input on that.
Right.
So if we had you there, it would then be quorum.
Yeah, no, I don't care. I presented this so we could talk about it and make sure we're all on the same page first. That's why I'm asking, before we go and say, here's what we're thinking now, like we did the last time, we were all on the same page and then walked in together. That's what I was presenting that for, is for all of us to take a look and see what we thought.
Then I would suggest that because the subcommittee members from just here are getting together to try to get something also, actually the subcommittee, we take that and then put it on here with yours as well, so that we can then all, because we have to, whatever we come up with, we have to also present to here.
Whatever
to be
you
put
got.
forward.
I just want to make
You
it easy.
okay with
that's
that?
all.
Okay.
Whatever makes it easy.
All right. So just to also let you know that there was a something that came to our attention about a tent. We did find out, but the system works because it could have gone for a complaint and then for the building commissioner. But we did discover that there was a permit on it. Thank you, Jim, for checking that. So that is all taken care of.
It's a permit to,
There's a temporary tent permit, and Mr. Florence asked if it has a C of A, and if not, should there be further enforcement? So I haven't got back to him yet.
If they
I
have
got
a
that
permit,
late
if they have a
tonight.
permit, my feeling is they got the permit. So
my question is, because it's on Main Street, Hyannis, how did it not come through us for approval of the tent?
it's temporary. It's a temporary. Temporary doesn't have to.
But temporary, is it defined?
Right, so that's the question to
Yeah.
the building commissioner right now, is that.
What is it? How long?
Is it truly temporary? And if not, then they need to issue an enforcement order to come to us. So that's what Mr. Florence and I are working on right now.
So, yes, I mean, I know we've come up against this before. We had somebody who made a complaint about one of the restaurateurs who had a vinyl sign just tied to the gate. And, of course, I went up and asked them about it, and they didn't really need a permit because they just put it out there for the night for the person that was singing to announce who the singer was. You know, it was a one-night deal. So, but they have a permit. If you're dealing with Mr. Florence, and I think if it's temporary, I wouldn't call temporary 6 to 12 months or something, but I think he's pretty. They're pretty careful about it.
And they got the permit to extend it all the way across the sidewalk?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen the permit itself. I'll talk to.
Because it does extend all the way to the edge of the sidewalk. That's why I was curious, too. Okay,
It's
thank
in
you
good
for
hands.
doing that.
Yes, thank you. Approval of the September 8th, just to them together, September 18th and September 23rd minutes. Are there any changes?
I've read them both, and they look fine to me.
Anyone else have any comments on it? I'll entertain a motion, please, to accept both minutes.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner, who was not there for the minutes? Anyone?
It doesn't matter if they read them.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Commissioner Crowley?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Watson? Aye. Commissioner Matthews?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Hinckley Needham? Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Kay?
Aye.
I'll also say aye. Okay, guys. So next meeting is October the 16th. One after that is November the 6th. I will, again, thank you very much for your patience tonight and for all your hard work and for being honest about your feelings and reactions. We're going to have to change, one of you two are going to, I'm going to have to separate you two. Motion for adjournment, please.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
No, second.
Oh, second.
Yeah.
Kevin moved it.
Can Kevin move it? Yeah.
Commissioner Carley.
Kevin can move it.
Move it where? What is that? That's offensive.
Commissioner Matthews.
It's offensive. I'm going to say aye.
Okay, Commissioner Clark. Aye. Commissioner Hinckley Needham. Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry Whitmore. I also say aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
But I think I missed you.